Hello, good afternoon. It's Eilers-Heffner, Senior Ruby Ambassador. I just wanted to jump on really quick and go over something that I've really been thinking about and have realized that I've been able to work through this myself over the last couple of years. And so I thought that I would share some of my thoughts with you. So it really has to do with not losing focus despite life happening and things happening that would cause us to have more potential stress in our lives or just things that we have to deal with, some things can be good stress, but it's still something that we have to deal with and take time out of to work with our family or our kids on a change, a new grade or a new classroom. There was a perfect example, right? Anyway, so as we go through life, there's exciting things that happen, like big vacations or fun moves to a new start, and it's all good, but that takes a decent amount of time out of our schedule. So a couple of things that we can do to be proactive with this, and that is, stacking our IPA, knowing that something is coming up. And so we still want to make sure that our business is running and that we are still helping people. And so, even as we're reaching out to people and letting them know, like, hey, I just would really like to help you get started before I go on this amazing vacation with my family. So let's get you going here. When can I get on the phone with you? So that's going to change how we do our IPA a little bit too, which is super helpful to still keep our business going when we're on vacation or something like that. Definitely letting our business builders know that, hey, I'm going to be out of town from this date to this date, but I'll be checking my messenger as much as I'm able to, depending on Wi-Fi, depending on this or that. But please know that our upline is still here to help. And that's why we do all these three-way chats, right? And then, of course, letting your upline know, hey, I'm going to need some extra help during this week. We're going to be gone, or whatever the situation is, out of the country. I don't know what my Wi-Fi is going to look like, so we still want to plan ahead and be proactive with that. And then let's talk about some things that we don't always want to portray all over our wall, right? We don't want to share a lot of negative things or things that we're dealing with. We want to process through them. And at some point it might be appropriate to talk about that in a positive way, about how God worked in our lives, how we overcame a challenge, but we don't want that to be something that could be construed as possibly negative, I think it's okay to be vulnerable once in a while. I think it's okay to be honest. I think that is important to show, hey, I'm a real person and that there's these things that we work through, but how we portray them, I think, is so important. So life is going to happen. I've had a lot of things that I've had to deal with over the last couple of years with Plexus being in my life too. Life happens. We look at Fallon. Fallon is a single mom of 5 kids that she's homeschooling. And even before she became a single mom, she was basically a single mom anyway, because her husband was gone so much. And so here she was building a business to diamond, homeschooling 5 children. I believe when she started, she had a baby that she was nursing and all of that. And so she has made it work. She has made it happen. And I'm sure that she's had some days where it was not something that she wanted to do because of, dealing with emotional things. But she did it anyway. And then Rochelle Osborne had a miscarriage, and she had to deal with the loss and the shock of that and the emotional side of that. So there's lots of things in our lives that we have to continue to work through, and still work our business. So if we had a coffee shop or a cute boutique or something, we wouldn't be able to just go, well, I had a fight with my husband last night, so I guess I'm not going to do my business today. I'm just going to go not open the doors. You have people counting on you. You may have other employees working under you that are counting on their scheduled hours. And so it's the same thing with this. We have people counting on us to help them get a good start on their products, to get the most out of their investment, to get through their day, with having a little extra support. And so, let's say something does happen and we need to take a few days off. It still means that we're going to throw up a quick post every now and again if we possibly can. It still means we're going to put up an inspirational quote because we need to maybe inspire ourselves too. It means that once we get through those few days, we're going to pick right back up and we're going to keep going. And it doesn't mean that we necessarily need to draw a lot of attention to it publicly about how we took 4 days off or something like that. We still want to put our presence to be known out there. And then as you pick up your activity again on Facebook and whatnot, the algorithms will pick up on that and you'll continue to be shown. So that's my encouragement, because we have a lot of people watching us. We have our downlines watching us. And if our downlines are seeing, well, it looks like she had a bad day and so she just isn't posting for a few days, or she just completely disappeared from Facebook. Well, I guess I could disappear from Facebook too when I'm having a bad day, or I don't need to do IPA today because my baby kept me up all night, or whatever the case may be. So we have a lot of people that we are responsible to. You can't just quit. So be careful about how those things are panning out, because our businesses never close. Yes, we have business hours. Yes, we set boundaries. Yes, we schedule our calls and our things that we have within our control. But if something comes out that throws our life off balance and off kilter, we want to manage that in a way that isn't necessarily super visible to the outside world. So if the hospital, I work at a hospital, or something crazy happened at the hospital and there was this major financial burden or something that came up, I can guarantee that they would want business to run as much as normally as possible to work through that. They wouldn't just let the staff know hey, we just hit this huge financial burden, blah, 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 so we're going to close our doors for a few days. That's not how a business runs. What they would do is they would make subtle and small changes in order to compensate for that. And they may cut back on certain departments and things like that. But usually those changes happen slowly and over time. There isn't usually closing 5 departments all at one time or something. So just think of it from a business perspective and that sort of thing. So we definitely want to portray that focus and consistency on our walls. And again, depend on your uplines to step in when something is happening. The other thing to do is that I definitely want to encourage you to take time for God to work in your life every day, to spend time with Him, to spend time praying over your friends, your family, these people that you're helping, the people that you need to help, and all these other situations that we're seeing. So we're such a huge presence on Facebook. We're seeing a lot of people hurting, the loss of a loved one, that sort of thing. I just had a childhood friend pass away. She was 38 and she's a twin. And so her twin sister is just heartbroken. And, I have to pray for her, it's important to me. And so we definitely want to take time out of our days to do that. We definitely want to set aside a couple weekends a year to really hone in and focus on what God wants us to hear and do and move forward with. Absolutely. But again, just how we're kind of portraying that and planning for that, I think is really important too. So yes, I think that is what I have to say right now. And I'm just really glad to have this opportunity to share with you something that I've been thinking about and processing through and had on my heart. And I hope that you're having an awesome day.